Hey, what's up, everybody? Time for another game theory video. Remember, if you like the videos, like, subscribe, comment, share, support the channel if you want. Appreciate things. More videos talking about how I would change Street Fighter, and this one is actually adding interesting EX moves to the game that are not just homogenized EX moves. And of course, I've made many videos about this throughout the years, but we're stepping up the already terrible quality to slightly less but still terrible quality with these video examples I'm going to use. So you're still going to have to try to use a little bit of your imagination, but we'll see. Okay. So, and of course, for a character like Ryu, when I've talked about him, we're just thinking about Ryu. Hopefully, I've said before, for a character like Ryu, just give him his thrust kick. That's his EX move, and Super Hurricane Kick is his actual EX move. Hell, you could even add his EX, Street Fighter EX Hurricane Kick is one of his EX moves. But the point is, non-homogenized EX moves that actually make the game interesting. So let's look at a character like Zangief. How could we actually put a spin, pun not intended, but I guess, on Zangief, right? To make him interesting, right? So when we think of Zangief, we think of spinning pile driver, right? What happens when you do a spinning pile driver, though? You kind of get a fly across the screen away from the guy, right? If this was something like, Street Fighter 6, you might try to drive rush to get in, more drive rush, more Slimer. But we want to make this game unique. So what is a way we could try to compensate for this, right? Like, even if you do it in the corner, guess what? The guy always flies away. So guess what? Let's think about some of the moves that Zangief has actually had in different games. Like, he has this little scoop thingy, right? He just scoops you up and he throws you up in the air. And he also has this alley-oop in older games, right? Where he just throws you way behind him, right? So one scoop is throwing the guy in front of him. One scoop is throwing the guy behind him, right? One in front, one in back. So my idea for this is, let's look at this again, right? And this would work for every throw, right? Every throw, right? Any kind of special throw he does. It could even be his super. And the basic idea is his EX move is, if you do any throw of Zangief's, special or super, right? If you press 2 punches, he scoops you up and he throws you in the air. If you press 2 kicks, when he throws you back behind him. That's his EX move. Now let's look what might happen with this, right? So guess what? If we do a spinning pile driver, boom. We press 2 punches, he throws you up in the air. Wait. Do you see what I'm getting at? Look at these great edits. Boom, does the damage, but then he throws you up. So then after that, Zangief now, and this particular throw doesn't have to do any damage, but this allows Zangief to keep his advantage without having to work his way in. And let's say this puts the guy in some kind of juggle state where you can actually then jab the guy, then maybe you'll do a walk under or a dash under, something like that. Maybe you'll just do a special for a hard knockdown, Now look at this, boom. If we were to do here, we would do kick throw because I'm facing this way, boom. I throw them the other way, right? So again, let's watch this again. Boom, spin pile driver. Oh, you want to use the EX bar? You throw them up. You get a mix up. Oh, I hit them like here. Oh, I'm going to use the EX bar to throw them back. Now, what if we combine these two properties of the game, though, that I've talked about with that special move cancel system, right? So we'd do boom right here, boom, throw them back behind us. Then we would do a lariat. Then we would do another lariat, assuming it actually comboed, right? You know what I mean? Because we can do that juggle system thing. And say you might have to time it. Say there might be some timing to it, right? Because you want to hit then the kick lariat late, which would then allow you and give you enough time to jump up and hit the dizzy headbutt. Do you see how we just is your brain, now you might need a few seconds, let that sink into your brain. I don't even give a fuck about Zangief. But even me not giving a fuck about Zangief, I can think of a new fucking spin to put on Zangief. Again, pun not intended, but spinning clothesline, spinning pile driver, right? So boom, 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 EX move to the system, then boom. If you watched that last video, right? Now, of course, that took Zangief. You only start off the match. And, and then after each round, you might only get one orb, one EX. One game gives you enough bar for one EX move after each round. But you might be like, whoa, that dizzies you. And then, if Zangief has a level 3, guess what? He could probably level 3 spin Padre. And guess what? Zangief automatically just won the match. Let's just say. Again, if I was making a game, I would give and not, I would not be surprised if many characters have different ways to automatically kill you. But guess what? They're using the system in a unique way. Is that not a unique way for that? That's not a traditional Zangief EX move. Has Zangief ever had an EX move like that in a game? No. But is this using moves that Zangief has had in other games in a unique fashion that is not going to be homogenized? Yes, right? Here's another nerdy example, right? And put on your thinking cap, right? What would my EX move for Blanka would be? And this one you might have to use your little imagination a little bit better because I can't really actually even try to edit it to film it. I would say that Blanka's EX move, when I think of Blanka trying to make him an annoying character, I think of basically, I don't think his lightning, his electricity is used enough. And I think Blanka at the start of the match, when I think about a character being annoying, I think of Blanka's EX move of being him, his electricity. And out of his electricity, you know what I mean, you can do his other special moves and they gain different properties, basically. So let's watch this. So say Zangief, or say if Blanka normally was doing electricity at the beginning of the round, I could probably just walk up, sweep him, right? But guess what? What if it was this new game, right? Where you don't start off with super, but you start off with EX bar. So Blanka doing electricity at the beginning of the round is going to be, whoa, you're like, this is fucking dumb. But that's okay because it's meter extensive. We got to make, Blanka to me is an annoying character anyway, so it's fine. So point is, let's watch this. Blanka's doing electricity. So you might be like, oh, well, fuck, I can just walk up to him. But not in this game because he could just do ball out of it. Now it takes bar. And in this game, so basically what would happen is if you ball out of electricity, right, the ball is then electrified. And let's say it looks like his Capcom versus SNK ball, right? And it electrocutes you and it knocks you down, right? It also can juggle, right? He also can dash out of it. And when you do the hop, and this is where you have to kind of really use your visualization. This might have been better when I actually drew pictures of it. Say when he hops back, a little bit of an electricity wave follows him. So if the guy gets hit by the electricity wave, that puts Blanka at a huge advantage where he can then, combo you or go for a mix-up. Like if Ryu was just, say if Ryu did that sweep and said Blanka ball, he gets hit by that. You know what I mean? The electricity kind of staggers Ryu and he can get a combo, right? Example here, Blanka were to do a hop out of it because you're respecting the electricity, it gives him enough, so the hop is slow. So if you hit him out of the hop, it's okay. But if you don't hit him out of the hop before he crosses to the other side, then it's like a little electricity wave comes there. And then you got to block that. And then I can jump up, I can do a mix-up, a high-low mix-up, anime style, because you just block this electricity that has you holding it. I could also hop to the other side, you got to hold it, it's so long, right? It also, like I said, if you were to get hit by electricity now, guess what? Say you could do the ball and it actually juggles. And it also, you can do the old hyper fighting lightning out of it, right? So if you were to actually get hit by the lightning, or even if you were just to respect the lightning, you can also do the hyper fighting anti-air ball and you can control it while he's coming down. Because that's what I think of. When I think of the hyper fighting thing, I think of those weird cross-ups and that it just did so much stun and it led to a dizzy combo, right? So anyway, that's what I think of with Blanka, that kind of thing, right? And I think of that being really annoying. You're like, whoa, that might be terribly, because what do characters do against that? Because Blanka has so many options for everything. And if you block it, you take a lot of block damage, let's say. But that's why I added in that one caveat for if you have so much bar at the beginning of the round, if you block a move and you still have your entire EX meter, it doesn't contribute to your guard meter yet. You know what I mean? It isn't until you've actually used the EX move that you can die from chip damage, right? That you can get guard broken, right? And that is one of the reasons that I've fathomed of maybe putting that in, because maybe that's just too powerful for Blanka. But anyway, the point is, if you just see that, guess what? That's not a generic fucking EX move. That's actually making Blanka's lightning, but you don't see that often. Guess what? Blanka, his EX move is all focused on his own thing. It's not a homogenized thing, right? And then one of the things I said for Ken, right, because you don't want just fucking homogenized fucking EX moves, I said for Ken that I would make his EX move out of funky kicks. If you press 2 kicks when a funky kick hits, doesn't matter what funky kick hits. If you press 2 kicks when a funky kick hits, you do his Street Fighter EX Super Shink, or what is it, the Shippuden Raikyak, right? You know what I mean? So basically, and of course I would tone up his funky kicks, whatever, from what they are in Super Turbo. But the thought of this is basically that when we look at stuff like this, guess what? Funky kick does have cool stuff that you can do. You can link off of it. You can even do this, something that I've never seen anyone. I've seen in some combo videos, people will post that you can get one hit with, crescent kick to, a Sharukan or something. But I've never actually seen anyone actually ever using it. If in Super Turbo, you can actually whiff cancel the funky kicks into another funky kick. And so you can actually do funky kick to funky kick, and it's a true combo if we watch that again. Funky kick, funky kick. And that's actually a real combo. I've actually never seen anyone ever post that. I've only ever seen, I've seen some other weird kind of combo videos with it, but I've never actually seen using the whiff cancel funky kicks to combo into himself. But anyway, I digress. You know what I mean? There's different kind of links you can do with it, right? But, that kind of stuff is fun. But the point is, we get these sort of situations where like, oh yeah, I can combo off of overhead, but you got to be so close that it actually, it whiffs sometimes. And I would try to fix this by making funky kicks have a little bit more momentum, to get rid of this. But there's also fun stuff like this that I don't think that happens enough. Like boom, boom, quick, boom, like that. That sort of stuff I love links. These kind of links are fun because you don't see that all the time, right? Let's watch this again. I would love for this stuff to be a little bit more realistic, right? So more forward momentum, that could work. Maybe that wouldn't work versus a small character, but if something like that was a little bit more fathomable versus not just a fat character or something like that, that would be fun, right? And the point is, when we look at this again, right? Wow, this thing is not doing this correctly, right? Let's watch this again. Boom. I just think this combo looks cool. But anyway, so the point is, no matter when you do a funky kick, if you press 2 kicks, boom, then Ken would go, oh, boom, he would go into his hurricane kick super. Well, the funky kick into hurricane kick super, right? And that would also help, even with the added extra momentum. Maybe there's some situations where you can't always combo after the overhead version of it. Maybe there's versions like this where you're actually doing funky kick, link, funky kick, you know what I mean? And then boom, after that, you press 2 kicks, right? And then he goes into a super, actually. And my thought for that is, because remember, if I was making a game, it already takes 1 orb. You can't just special move to super without orb in the first place, right? You can't just do fireball with Ryu, cancel the super fireball. It actually costs an EX meter to do that. Only level 3s do not cost a versatile EX bar to do a special to super. But this gives Ken, and because I don't care about Ken having any other EX move besides this. And you might be like, oh, these other characters have these other things. But guess what? I think this would be just that cool and just that good enough that, wow, you're like, Ken has this, Ken has a super, basically a super just automatically connected to his funky kick. And it does huge damage. He doesn't have any other EX move besides that, but he has this one. And guess what? You're like, oh man, why does Ryu have a good overhead in Super Turbo and he gets a sweep off of this? You know what I mean? So that's why I was thinking, like, how would I try to, and again, I would tone up funky kick in the first place, but how would I tone this up that Ken's overheads are actually kind of slower than Ryu's? And I would make the reward that much better. And I would make it so Ken, guess what? He has these, options. He has huge damage. He gets a super damage off of a funky kick. And it encourages you to go for this. And of course, you could use it for block damage, all this kind of stuff, right? And maybe there's certain kind of juggle combos where, you're doing funky kick stuff. And guess what? Maybe he even has the Street Fighter EX series where, if you don't go into another hurricane kick, if it hits late, you can then link off it. You could do tons of stuff with it. But the point is, guess what? He doesn't have a homogenized EX move. He has a unique move. He uses the system in a unique way that no other character does. Do you get what I'm saying? You can make Street Fighter. It's crazy to me that these video games are so homogenized nowadays when it's like, and I am a nerd. Of course, I've thought about how I would make my own Street Fighter game. I've thought about this stuff, but it's like, I don't even get paid for this shit. I just think about video games in my free time for fun when I'm bored or something, right? Like, I don't think this shit is rocket science, right? You can make a system based upon old Street Fighter games, just taking actual foundational stuff, polishing it up, mix mashing it together, and making it a good game, dude. Making it interesting. unique, not homogenized. Street Fighter 6. Oh, like I said, it's so funny that you have the most, in a sense, the most unique Ryu and Ken ever compared to each other. And guess what? They feel the most homogenized because they poke the same way, with a grain of salt. You know what I mean? They use the system in the same way. Guess what? No character in this Street Fighter game that I'm describing uses the system in the same way whatsoever, right? I mean, if you even go back to that last video that I made about Ken's Flaming Dragon Punch, guys, can you imagine this? Guess what? Ken does that Flaming Dragon Punch, cancels at the super, took two EX bars, right? Then, you know what I mean? He canceled to the egg beater hurricane kick, boom, 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 boom. Now he's comboing on this side. Now he just did this combo versus Zangief. Then he presses 2 kicks at the end of it. Then he goes into a super hurricane kick, super. Guess what? Maybe that's Ken's fucking instant kill combo, right? You know what I mean? He used the system in a unique way. Amazing. Remember, if you like the videos, like, subscribe, comment, share, support the channel if you want. I appreciate it. Thanks. The end.